one of the reasons that I haven't actually recommended a gaming phone for everyone, because despite its great performance and features, they sometimes don't necessarily translate into a good smartphone experience. One good example is the ROG Phone 5. This phone is great in terms of performance and specs, but it is a very heavy device to handle that makes it a hassle when it comes to my usual Facebook and Instagram scrolling. But fortunately, a gaming phone like the Black Shark 4 here is more smartphone than a gaming phone, because first of all, it doesn't have all that flashy design like a gaming phone is supposed to have, and it has some really nice practical smartphone features. So what I'm going to talk about today is why you should definitely consider the Black Shark 4 if you are shopping for a smartphone plus with some good gaming capabilities. But before that, let me just bring you a message from our sponsor, which is by ourselves. Good Deals by KLGG. This is our e-commerce store that you can get awesome gadgets at a great price, and you get to enjoy 10 ringgit off your first purchase and free delivery for every purchase that you make. So visit the link in the description down below to check out more gadget deals on our e-store. Unlike its predecessor, the Black Shark 4 sports a more discreet design and one you will find common on some current smartphones with a holographic design on its glass back. The Black Shark branding no longer glows and there isn't any RGB light strips to be found, which I think is a pretty good thing for a fashion statement and one way to increase battery life. One thing I really like about the Black Shark 4 is the aesthetics, as I don't feel any strain while using single-handedly because of its weight distribution. The dual loudspeakers are also located ideally out of my palm's reach when using the phone in landscape. And if you're someone who appreciates gaming triggers, the magnetic pop-up triggers comes into service once you flip the switches, and I'm very impressed with the button's tactility. Speaking of which, you can also customize them to launch apps or perform certain features, which is pretty neat. The Black Shark 4's 6.67-inch Super AMOLED panel has good punchy colors and contrast that's pretty close to my Galaxy S21 Ultra. Brightness is also decent with great outdoor visibility. Combined with the 144Hz refresh rate and 720Hz touch sampling rate, this is a killer smartphone display that I will miss when I return my unit, because it doesn't only just improve gaming experience but also typing and navigating around the system. Everything I do on it feels extremely responsive, and I'm sure even non-gamers will love it. Speaking of performance, I'm totally fine with the Black Shark 4 using the Snapdragon 870 chipset instead of the more powerful Snapdragon 888. It is already fast enough for most demanding games and doesn't cause the device to heat up terribly, which is probably attributed to the device's improved sandwich liquid cooling system. Software-wise, the phone ships with a Black Shark MIUI software, aka Joy UI, running on top of Android 11. The good news is that there isn't any annoying ads going on when you install an app from the Play Store or any extreme battery saving measures that delays notifications. GPS performance is also okay, unlike most Xiaomi phones, but the Android Auto bug of not being able to load up music streaming apps on my car stereo still persists and is a common problem for devices running on MIUI 12.5. The Black Shark 4 features a triple camera array that I find it to be decent for gaming phone standards. The main 48MP lens takes pixel bin 12MP photos with good color saturation and dynamic range. The ultra-wide and macro lens can be useful, but don't expect great image quality from them. Xiaomi's camera software is excellent in optimizing photos, and I love the photo editing feature where I can apply realistic sky filters to my landscape shots. I am particularly impressed with the 20MP front camera, as it captures really nice selfies without overexposing the background like most other smartphones. But it sadly isn't a good vlogging camera, as video recording for the front is limited to 1080p at 30 frames per second. Battery life on the Black Shark 4 is acceptable considering it only has a 4500 mAh battery. I can get close to 2 days on a single charge with 144Hz refresh rate enabled all the time, and most of my activities involve social media browsing and streaming videos with a combined usage of around 5 hours. When gaming for a good 45 minutes per session on the Black Shark 4, the battery holds up well with a 25% dip in my test. What really amazes me is the support for 120W fast charging, which you will need to purchase the brick separately. It is so fast that the battery level is back at least 30% when you spend a couple of minutes making coffee. Even if you don't use the included charging brick, the Black Shark 4 supports USB PD charging up to 45W, which isn't something that you will find on phones with proprietary fast charging. To sum it up, I'm really glad that the Black Shark 4 isn't a mere gaming phone full of gimmicks, as there are some practical features that even non-gamers would really appreciate. Although its closest competitor, the Poco F3, offers almost the same specs for 1,000 ringgit lesser, I would really pay more for the Black Shark 4 for its faster display, a headphone jack, and its really great gaming triggers. It starts from 2,299 ringgit for the 8GB RAM and 128GB storage model, but I would recommend that you go for the 12GB RAM and 256GB storage model, as this doesn't support any storage expansion. So that's pretty much about my thoughts about the Black Shark 4. It's a really great gaming phone and also a great all-purpose, all-rounder smartphone. You should definitely check it out when you can. So that's pretty much for today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Do stay tuned to more videos over at KLGadgetTV and stay subscribed, and be sure to check out our e-store once again at deals.klgadgetguide.com. I'm Warren with KLGadgetTV, and I will see you in the next video.